Hi everyone! Today we are discussing the many visa options available to you if you want to visit, work, live, and play here in New Zealand. Kamusta mga kabayan? It's me again, your Pinoy girl here in New Zealand, and aka Girl Chasing Sunshine, back with another video. If you're new here, welcome. I make videos about my life here in New Zealand as a Filipino immigrant who started with just a working holiday visa. If you like videos on migrating, traveling, and working here in New Zealand, smash that subscribe button and that notification bell below. You can also follow me on Facebook and Instagram at Girl Chasing Sunshine. Ever since I started this channel last year and I uploaded my very first video kung paano ako nakapunta dito sa New Zealand, ang daming nagtatanong sa akin, paano naman daw sila makakapunta dito sa New Zealand? Anong visa yung dapat nilang i-apply? Since last year, nung nag-start yung pandemic, marami na talaga nag-iisip na mag-abroad, and isa sa mga top of mind talaga na bansa is si New Zealand. Maybe because people perceive New Zealand as a safe place given how COVID-19 was managed here in the country. If you are one of those people who are contemplating to move here to New Zealand, then there are a range of visa options available to you. In this video, I'll be sharing with you an overview of the most common visa types or visa options going here to New Zealand, and hopefully, this will give you an idea mga kabayan kung anong visa ang pinakabagay para sa inyo at sa sitwasyon ninyo. Before I start this video, I'd like to make some disclaimers. Unang-una, hindi po ako immigration advisor. What I will share here is based on general information from the Immigration New Zealand website as well as my experience and yung experience ng ibang Pinoy na kakilala ko na nag-migrate din dito sa New Zealand. Second, sa ngayon po, most temporary visa applications are suspended if you are applying from outside New Zealand. Wala pa pong latest updates kung kailan ulit magbubukas yung offshore visa processing. Kung sarado po ang visa processing, bakit ko pa ito sinishare sa inyo? Bakit pa tayo nagsasayang ng oras? Well, sabi ko nga po sa umpisa mga kabayan, ito ay para mabigyan kayo ng idea sa options ninyo para po kapag normal visa processing resumes again, ready na kayo to apply. Alam na ninyo yung kailangan ninyong documents, nakapag-research na kayo ng mabuti. Huwag na po natin hintayin ng formal announcement. Ngayon pa lang, habang may oras tayo, mag-prepare na po tayo. Lastly, ayun nga po, this is just general information and not a recommendation. It's important po that you do your own research and decide for yourself if you really want to commit through the whole visa application process, because sa ngayon po, I have to be honest mga kabayan, medyo challenging po ang immigration process, especially with regard to visa processing times. Lagi ko pong sinasuggest that you double check and verify any information from the Immigration New Zealand website, and kung kailangan nyo po ng mas tutok pa na guidance, pwede rin po kayong mag-contact ng licensed immigration advisor or lawyer. Okay, now that all of those are out of the way, we can finally start. Dalawa lang naman po yung main categories ng visa dito sa New Zealand. Yung una, temporary visa, and yung pangalawa po, yung minimithi ng lahat ng migrants, which is yung resident visa. While there are some people who are able to come here on a resident visa right away, most people start on a temporary visa muna, like me. So, they use it as a stepping stone to come here, and once they're already here in New Zealand and have spent a few months or years and have gained some qualifications and work experience, they will now apply for a resident visa. So, what's the difference between the two visas? Simpleng-simple lang po. Yung temporary visa, you are allowed to stay here in New Zealand for a specified period of time. Kung gaano kayo katagal pwedeng magstay sa New Zealand, nakalagay po yun sa visa ninyo. And once your visa has expired, kailangan po ninyong either mag-exit ng New Zealand, aalis kayo, mag-apply ng extension, or mag-apply ng ibang visa. The resident visa, on the other hand, gives you privileges to be able to permanently stay here in New Zealand. Pwede mo nang tawaging home or second home ang New Zealand. So, may evolution po itong resident visa. The first time you get it, usually merong travel conditions na attached with your visa. Meaning, you can only go out and in of New Zealand for a specified time period. Usually po, 24 months ito. And then, kapag 24 months ka nang naka-resident visa, pwede ka nang mag-apply para maging permanent resident visa holder. So kapag PR ka na, wala na pong travel conditions attached and you can go in and out of New Zealand at any time you want. Within these two main categories, yung temporary at resident visa, marami pa pong subcategories na visa. Pero siguro, i-divide na lang po natin sa 6. Ano-ano ba yung mga yon? Visit, study, invest, work, live, and love. Talagang huling-huli yung love, no mga kabayan? The first category is the visitor or tourist visa. Para sa inyo mga kaladkarin at #travel goals. Ayan. You can use this visa to explore New Zealand, visit family and friends, or to study a short course. With a visitor visa, pwede kayo magstay sa New Zealand for up to 9 months. But you have to prove that you have enough money to support yourself during your stay. You must also show that you are a genuine tourist and that you intend to leave New Zealand once your visa expires. Since you can study a short course using a tourist visa, yung iba po nating mga kabayan na nurses, ito yung ginagamit na visa para makapunta ng New Zealand at makuha po nila yung kanilang tinatawag na CAP or Competency Assessment Program. I'm not too familiar with the process, pero itong CAP po, kailangan para makapag-practice kayo bilang nurse dito sa New Zealand. Kung meron po tayong mga kabayang nurse na dito na sa New Zealand at willing kayong mag-share ng process, leave a comment below po kabayan. Marami ang nagtatanong, is it possible daw po ba to find work on a visitor visa? Yes, it's possible. I know of some stories mga kabayan, but it's really challenging and usually you have the greatest chance kung yung work background mo or yung qualifications mo ay in demand dito sa New Zealand. For those who are wanting to visit New Zealand and work at the same time, meron pong tinatawag na working holiday visa. I've talked so much about this visa. Kung regular viewer kayo, alam nyo na yan kasi itong visa na to, ito yung visa na hawak ko nung una akong pumunta ng New Zealand. This visa helps young, educated people to come here to New Zealand. You can apply for this visa if you have 4,200 New Zealand dollars to live on during your stay, and while you're here, you can go around, work, or study. So, sa New Zealand, it offers the working holiday visa to nationalities of different countries. So, bawat bansa po, iba-iba ang requirements. For us Filipinos, merong age requirement, 18 to 30 years old lang po. Dapat college graduate kayo, tapos limited lang din yung slots para sa atin. Only 100 slots per year lang po ang available and paunahan siya. Kung nandito na kayo at nakakuha na kayo ng working holiday visa, tandaan nyo po na pwede kayo mag-work, pero maximum of 3 months lang per employer. You can watch this video po for an overview of the Philippine Working Holiday Visa. Marami na rin akong videos na ginawa about that. One of the most common pathways po to come here to New Zealand, as in, ito talaga yung pinaka-popular and marami tayong kabayan ang gumagawa nito, and that is to get a student visa. Dito po sa New Zealand, merong 4 different types ng student visa. Una, yung fee-paying student visa, pathway student visa, exchange student visa, and lastly, foreign government-supported visa. I won't discuss all of them in detail na po, pero yung common denominator ng 4 na to is, una, you must already have an offer of placement, meaning, nakapag-apply na kayo on your own or through an agency sa school or university at course na gusto ninyo at natanggap na kayo. Second, you must study full-time. And lastly po, regarding work rights, on a student visa, pwede po kayong mag-work part-time up to 20 hours while studying. And kapag holidays, I think pwede rin po yata full-time, basta holidays. Ang pinaka-common talaga na ginagamit is yung fee-paying student visa. As the name suggests po, fee-paying meaning aral mo, gastos mo. You need to pay the full cost of your course and enroll with an approved education provider. This visa is for you po if you want to study in New Zealand for more than 3 months, and with this visa, you can stay up to 4 years in New Zealand. But just a word of caution, this is a really huge financial investment mga kabayan. Malaki po talaga ang ilalabas ninyo kasi iba yung tuition fee as an international student. Times 2 or times 3 po yung babayaran ninyo. Yung tuition fee po na babayaran ninyo would depend on the length of your course, anong course yung kukunin nyo, and saang school kayo mag-aaral. But usually, it ranges between 12,000 12,000 to 37,000 New Zealand dollars. And that's for the tuition fee alone, mga kabayan. Kailangan nyo pa pong i-factor in yung cost of living and other expenses ninyo. I suggest you go to this website if you want to explore more about studying here in New Zealand as an international student. You might be wondering po, meron bang age limit to study here in New Zealand? Or in general, meron bang age limit para makapunta ng New Zealand? Meron na po akong video na ginawa about dyan. Pwede nyo pong panoorin yung video na yan. Now, kung malaking financial investment, bakit marami pa rin po yung sumusugal? It's because after studying, you can be eligible to get a post-study work visa that would allow you to stretch your time here in New Zealand to be able to find skilled work. Depending on the level of qualification that you have completed, you can be awarded a post-study work visa that's valid for up to 3 years. Since napa-intro na po tayo sa work visa dun sa post-study work visa, ituloy na po natin. What are your other visa options if you want to work here in New Zealand? Actually, there are a couple, including the following po. Unang-una, yung Essential Skills Work Visa. Isa to talaga sa nagagamit na work visa ng ating mga kabayan. If you have been offered a full-time job and you have po the necessary qualifications and experience to work in that job, you can apply for an Essential Skills Work Visa. Kailangan na prove na ng employer ninyo na walang available na Kiwi or New Zealander na pwedeng gumawa ng trabaho ninyo. With an Essential Skills Work Visa, the requirements and the conditions of your visa will depend po on two factors. Una, the job that you are offered, and second and more importantly, yung salary if you will be paid below the New Zealand median wage, the median wage, or above the median wage. If you already have this visa and depende po sa conditions, you may be able to support visa applications for your partner and your dependent children. Another type of work visa is the long-term skill shortage list work visa. Ang haba po, no? To be able to qualify for this visa, kailangan meron po kayong work experience, qualifications, and occupational registration sa isang job or work na nasa listahan ng long-term skill shortage. As in, literal po yung pangalan ng visa. And syempre, dapat meron na po kayong job offer for that occupation. Ano-ano ba yung mga trabaho na nasa long-term skill shortage list? Pwede po ninyong puntahan yung Immigration New Zealand website para sa listahan. Yung LTSSL po, isa siyang work to residence pathway. Kung 2 years na po kayo nagtatrabaho sa occupation na yon, after 2 years, pwede na po kayong mag-apply for residency. Another visa po na work to residence pathway is yung Talent Accredited Employer Work Visa. Ito naman po yung naging visa ko after kong mag-working holiday. You can apply for this visa kung meron po kayong job offer from an accredited employer. Meron pong listahan sa INZ website ng mga accredited employers. Tsaka po pala, dapat ang salary ninyo at least 79,560 New Zealand dollars annually. So kapag 2 years ka na pong nagtatrabaho dun sa accredited employer, pwede na po kayong mag-apply for residency. Yan po yung tatlong common na work visas. However, si Immigration New Zealand announced that this will be replaced with a new visa application process that will be employer-led. So ito pong bagong work visa application process will introduce a new system that will have 3 checks. Una po yung employer check, the job check, and the migrant worker check. Hindi pa po ito currently in place and wala pa pong masyadong detalye na binibigay, but INZ have said that it might happen in mid-2021. Once na-announce na po yung buong detalye, I'm planning to host and guest an immigration advisor para tulungan po tayong maintindihan yung bagong work visa application system. So, abangan nyo yan mga kabayan, at kung gusto ninyo yan, please leave a comment below. Mag-comment po kayo ng inyong mga katanungan or kahit simpleng, yes, go and mag-guest tayo ng immigration advisor. Yan, mag-comment kayo mga kabayan. Meron pa pala tayong pahabol sa work visa categories kasi recently nag-trending to. It's called the Philippines Special Work Visa. Yes, meron pala tayong special visa, no? Pero recent lang siya nag-trending, pero actually matagal na pala tong visa na to since 2010 pa mga kabayan. Itong visa na to, this is specifically po for registered nurses, farm managers, and engineering professionals. This visa category is for those naman who want to set up a business or invest here in New Zealand. Hindi ko na to i-discuss again kasi hindi naman siya common na pathway, pang-alta siya, and kailangan mo ng milyones to be able to get this visa. But under this category, you have the Entrepreneur Resident or Work Visa, Investor 1 and 2 Resident Visa, Temporary Retirement Visa, and the Global Impact Visa. There are two common ways to gain residency here in New Zealand. First is through the Residence from Work or RFW category. Ito yung dalawang visa na na-discuss natin kanina, yung Long-Term Skill Shortage List and Talent Accredited Employer Work Visa. So kapag 2 years na kayo na nagtatrabaho sa occupation na yon or sa accredited employer na yon, you can be eligible to apply for residency. Ang advantage nito is this is the cheaper residency option. Hindi mo na rin kailangan ng English language test results. Ang disadvantage naman, obviously, kailangan yung magstay ng 2 years dun sa trabaho na yon bago pa kayo makapag-apply for residency. Now, if you don't want to wait anymore for 2 years and gusto mo nang ipila yung iyong residency application, then your other option is the Skilled Migrant category, which is New Zealand's points-based residency system. Personally, ganun yung ginawa ko mga kabayan. Again, kung matagal na kayong subscriber, alam niyo na tong kwento na to. So after ko mag-working holiday, di ba nagkaroon ako ng work-to-residence visa via an accredited employer. Pero hindi ko na hinintay yung 2 years at nag-apply na ako agad ng residency via SMC. And then after 2.5 months or 3 months ba, nakuha ko na yung residency ko mga kabayan. SMC is a 2-step process. So first, you submit an expression of interest or EOI para masama sa pool yung iyong application. If you meet the minimum required points, you get an invitation to apply or ITA, and kapag may ITA ka na, kailangan ipasa mo yung required documents for you to formally lodge your SMC application. Diba sabi ko kanina mga kabayan, points-based system yung SMC. Yung points mo, it will depend on a number of factors like your age, your academic qualifications, your work experience, etc. And the minimum points required for you to be selected from the EOI pool is 160 points. When you apply for this visa, you should be no more than 55 years old and kailangan meron ka ng English language test results. Once your SMC application is approved, congratulations kabayan! Residente ka na dito sa New Zealand. Kung gusto ninyong gumawa ako ng detailed step-by-step process for SMC, please leave a comment below. Last category na tayo, finally mga kabayan. Sobrang haba na siguro ng video na to. Love. So what I mean by this is yung tinatawag nating partnership-based visa. Depending on how you are able to prove your relationship, it can be a visitor visa, a work visa, or a residence visa. Ang maganda dito sa New Zealand, it's a really progressive country, so they recognize same-sex relationships and de facto relationships. So actually, hindi requirement na kasal kayo para makapag-apply ng partnership visa. Immigration New Zealand defines partnership as two people of the opposite or same sex who live together in a genuine and stable relationship, in a legal marriage, a civil union, or a de facto relationship. Ano-ano ba yung mga basic eligibility requirements mga kabayan? Kailangan you and your partner must be age 18 and above. Pwede rin namang 16 or 17, pero dapat meron consent from your parents. Second, you should have actually met each other before applying for your visa based on partnership. And third, dapat hindi kayo close relatives. In terms of requirements, kailangan nyo talagang patunayan na matatag yung relationship ninyo and matibay yung foundation ninyo mga kabayan. Medyo madugo talaga yung requirements kasi hahalukayan ng immigration yung lahat ng aspeto ng relationship ninyo and kailangan nyo mag-provide ng mga evidence katulad ng photos, history or yung kwento ng relationship ninyo, timeline, ganyan, support letter from your family and friends, chat history, proof na nag-live-in kayo together, joint bank accounts, or joint finances. Minsan pa nga, especially for partnership-based residence applications, pupuntahan pa kayo or tatawagan ng immigration officer para interviewin tungkol sa relationship ninyo. And yung mga tanong ha, medyo TMI talaga, hahalukayin talaga yung history ng relationship ninyo. Pero mga kabayan, kung totoo naman talaga yung relationship ninyo, true love talaga kumbaga, and wala naman kayong itatago or tinatago, then you have nothing to worry. Dahil ang love naman ay hindi lang romantic love, sa category na to, dito rin papasok kung gusto nyo dalhin yung mga anak ninyo or yung parents ninyo. So kung gusto nyo dalhin yung anak ninyo, meron tinatawag na dependent child visa. Pero dapat yung anak po ninyo single, not more than 24 years old, and dapat they rely on an adult for financial support. You can also sponsor your parents to go here to New Zealand through the parent resident visa if you are a New Zealand citizen or a resident and you earn enough. Depende po kung ilan yung parents na gusto nyong papuntahin dito and ilang tao yung mag-sponsor ng application na yon. For example, mag-asawa kayo, meron pong minimum salary requirement na kailangan ninyong maabot. Again, kung gusto po ninyong gumawa ako ng videos about these visas under our love category, then leave a comment below mga kabayan. I know many of you kabayan are really looking forward to come here to New Zealand to try your luck and hopefully settle and live here in New Zealand. My final bit of advice na lagi ko talagang inuulit sa lahat ng videos natin is research, research, research. Some people can do the whole visa application process on their own, meaning DIY lang talaga yung process. Pero kung feeling nyo po mas kakampante kayo kung meron nagka-guide at nagsusupport sa inyo, then you can contact a licensed immigration advisor or immigration lawyer. I have to be honest mga kabayan, hindi po ito magiging madaling proseso. But just be prepared and commit yourself to the whole process and everything else will follow. I hope nakatulong tong video na to, and if yes, sana i-like po ninyo. Pwede rin ninyong i-share sa inyong mga friends, and kung meron pa kayong questions, please wag po kayong mag-hesitate na mag-comment below. I try to answer as many questions as possible whenever I can. And kung hindi pa po kayo nakasubscribe, please click the subscribe button below and yung notification bell. Kita-kits ulit tayo sa susunod na video mga kabayan!